Hey guys, so today I thought I'd continue with these videos I've been making the past week or so of, giving you some information on different, categories or items to collect. And today I'm going to cover World War I and World War II canteens and their makers and give you some history on them. I'm not going to touch on canteen covers and anything post World War II. I'm just going to focus on the First World War and World War II. And like I said, show you some examples that I have from my collection, and just give you some tips and ideas of things to look for. And I've really kind of been studying hard for this video, I guess you could say. I've got a lot of notes and stuff I want to cover, so it'll probably be another lengthy video, but I hope y'all watch the whole thing, and hopefully it'll help answer some questions you might have had. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, and let's get started. Alright, so here are the examples that I will be using in this video. And this basically, what you see here on the table is basically going to cover, World War I and World War II. And, there's different manufacturers and little things I'll add along the way. And as you see here, I got a bunch of notes and stuff. I always study for, somewhat put together my video ideas most of the time, because I want to make sense and be informative. But anyways, most of you already have a general idea about canteens and everything. Some of you might be new to the military collecting world or canteen collecting. And basically, before World War I started, which we know World War I started in 1914, around 1910, a canteen came into play, and it was basically called a spun canteen. Most of us are familiar, with the two-piece welded canteens, whereas the spun one was just one piece of aluminum, basically. It was spun. And, it wasn't two pieces welded together, two halves, vertical or horizontal, that were welded. It was just one piece. And it was basically originally started by AGM Company, which is the Aluminum Goods Manufacturing Company. And they started that around 1910. And then Rock Island Arsenal started the two-piece canteen in 1913, and they produced from 1913 until 1917. But like I said, the very first productions of the spun canteens, which is just a one-piece aluminum, was by AGM, which again is the Aluminum Goods Manufacturing Company. And like I said, and then around in 1912, Rock Island Arsenal, they developed basically the two-piece welded canteen. And like I said, they made those from 1913 to 1917. Now, one thing I wanted to say is the original canteen caps, the tops or caps for them was a flat. It's not like these rounded ones here that I'm about to get into, but it's actually a flat top. See, this is kind of a dome look, basically. So that was a little bit different setup here. And all of the canteens that were produced before 1918, they will not have a date on them, and they will not have a manufacturer's name or initials, abbreviations stamped on them anywhere. And it was estimated that between 10 and 11 million canteens were produced, for the U.S. forces in World War I. So you think 10 or 11 million canteens, that is a lot of canteens. And so, a lot of people think all this stuff is rare, all the time. Just think anything that's old, it's got to be rare and valuable, and it's not, because that's a lot of canteens. There's a lot of them out there still. But, there are different ones that are somewhat more desirable than others and everything. So there was basically 5 companies that made the World War I canteens. Like I said, I'm not talking about the spun ones, because like I said, that would have been the AGM Co. I'm talking about the canteens that were two-piece weld. Actually, there were 6 companies, I'm sorry. So Rock Island Arsenal from 1913 to 1917, so that's one company. And honestly, I don't have one of those in my collection. Hopefully one day. And then there was ACA, which is the Aluminum Company of America. And then you got LF&C, which is Landers, Frary, and Clark. And then you got BA Company, which is Buckeye Aluminum Company. And then you got the AGM Co., which is the Aluminum Goods Manufacturing, which, they started the spun one-piece canteen, and then they also started producing the two-piece welded canteens. Those 4 that I just named, I have one of each of those. I'll show you here and what their markings look like. And there's one other one that I don't have, and it's TJWB, which is the J.W. Brown Company. That's one I don't have. So of those 6 companies, 4 of them I have and 2 I don't. And I'll start right here. This is my LF&C, which is the Landers, Frary, and Clark. And you see it's dated 1918. It's got the aluminum cap there, the dome type that replaced the flat top. Right here I've got the BA Company, which is the Buckeye Aluminum. Now, you know, some makers stamp theirs, you know, sideways, basically vertical, up and down, or it could have been horizontal, it could have been here, or I've seen them on the bottom of the canteens, you know, but that's the Buckeye Aluminum. And then this one right here, see, this one's towards the bottom instead of the middle up there. This one's AGM which is the Aluminum Goods Manufacturing Company. And the last one I have is this one right here. Now you see this one, in like the BA company stamped this way, this one is stamped reverse. See, you got US, and then it's the ACA, which is the Aluminum Company of America. And you see all 4 of those makers also have the year stamp, 1918, because like I said, the canteens made before 1918 were not dated and did not have the manufacturer's initials or markings or names on them. Now, you know, after World War I, you know, World War I was the war to end all wars. Most of you probably heard that before. And so America was not expecting to get in any other major war conflict, I'm sure of that. And so, you know, that's why canteens after 1918 were not made, you know, in the 20s or, you know, the early 30s or mid-late 30s. Really, canteen production didn't start again until, obviously, 1942. But, you know, going into when we got involved in World War II, a lot of the leftover, you know, gear and supplies, weapons and everything, helmets were used from World War I. They were carried over into World War II. Now, in beginning of World War II, you know, canteens were made basically from alternate materials, mostly stainless steel, because, you know, when we first got involved in World War II, aluminum was scarce because they needed, you know, the U.S. needed aluminum for airplanes and other purposes like that. And so, you know, Americans, you know, the U.S. were trying to come up with different alternative canteen materials, and we got into the porcelain enamel here, which I've got 2 examples here. And these were made in 1942, and you see this is right there, 1942, USS Co. And USS Co. stands for the Stoneware Company, basically. The U.S. Stoneware Company. So we got that one right there. And then this one right here is a Vollrath, 1942. And you see what's interesting, see, this is basically vertical, right, up the sides, whereas this one is horizontal made, left to right. Now this is the type of cap, the flat plastic cap, which started to replace the aluminum dome from World War I, right? But at the start of World War II in 1942, the dome cap was still being produced. And take a look at this. See, this is 1942 canteen. It's got the dome cap, right? But then, let me show you this. This one is also 1942. But see, this one's got the flat top. And so, you know, some companies had leftover materials or more of this or that, and it might have taken them a little bit longer to change to, you know, what was the newest thing, basically. But, you know, other than the enamel and porcelain canteens, there was like a plastic material called Ethicel, and those are very desirable because, you know, not just a whole lot of them were made. But, you know, as far as these enamel porcelain canteens, it's estimated 5 million were made, and so they're not rare. I see them on eBay all the time. They're not rare, like I said. But what is rare is the cup. You know, just like this right here, you got actually a porcelain enamel cup. Now, if you have the cup, I see those go for hundreds of dollars on eBay. Those are very desirable, especially if they're not chipped or broken up. Because with the porcelain and enamel canteens, it's basically like a low-grade metal that had porcelain or enamel, you know, put over top of it. And that was a complaint of the soldiers. It would get in their water, and they just didn't hold up very well at all. And so that's why they went back in late 42. They went back to, you know, the aluminum canteens, because it was, like I said, aluminum had to be used for, you know, the aircraft and different things like that. And I was going to say, as far as the enamel canteens, there were about 5 or 6 companies that made them. You got Republic, Vollrath, Singer Manufacturing. You got the USS, which is the United States Stoneware, BE Company. Those are just some of the companies that made them. And as far as the Ethicel canteen, which I don't have, I really want to add one to my collection. Those were made by the Mack Molding Company and the Dow Chemical Company in 42 and 43. And so hopefully I'll add one of those to my collection. I was going to say, like I said, some companies made the horizontal seam canteens in 1942. A lot of the vertical canteens has stopped being produced, but they eventually started back production in 1943. And then, like I mentioned, the aluminum dome cap, we went from, like I said, this is a World War II canteen, 1942. You got the World War I style dome cap. It went to the flat plastic cap right there, or like a Bakelite almost. And then we went to this. This is the main cap most of you probably recognize. It's got like a recess in there, an indentation basically, or made in the top there. That's what most of us are familiar with. And basically, the cap was changed, see, recess top to protect the chain rivet. So, whereas, like these right here, see the chain rivet, see it's kind of exposed right there, right? And the same thing with this flat plastic one here, the flat, it's like a Bakelite. But, see this, it's more recessed, it's more down inside of the cap, so it's almost harder for it to be broken off or damaged or whatever. So that was one of the reasons why they did that. There are 11 known companies that made canteens during World War II. And of the 11, I've got 7 of them. Now, I'm talking about, the aluminum or stainless steel canteens. Those 11 known companies. And I'll start right here. You got the AGM, which, they made them in, they started the Spun Canteen before World War I. And they also made the two-piece welded in World War I. This is the Aluminum Goods Manufacturing Company. And then this is one of my favorite canteens right here, because this one's got a really, really salty look and texture to it. Really, really gritty feel to it. So, I could only imagine where this canteen has been. But see, this one says TACU Company, which stands for the Aluminum Cooking Utensil Company. So that's a good one right there. And then right here, we've got GP and F, which, if I'm pronouncing right, is Guder, Paschke, and Frey Company. And this one right here, you've got, it's upside down, sorry, which is RSE, and this is the Republic Stampling and Enameling Company. Now, these are kind of more of a rounded canteen, almost like they're smooth now. See, the welds smooth, and it's more of like a perfectly rounded canteen instead of, a crudely made one, I guess, or it's just different. It's just a different canteen type than some of the other ones we're used to. Right here, you've got SMCO, which is Southeastern Metal Company, and the last one here I got to share with you is the Vollrath, which they made a bunch of them there. Now, the companies that I don't have a canteen of is LF&C, Landers, Frary, and Clark. I've got the World War I, but I don't have a World War II dated one. There's the MA Company, which is the Massillon Aluminum Company. That's MA Co. I don't have that one. There's the BA Co., which is the Buckeye Aluminum Company, which, I've got the World War I version, but I don't have a World War II dated one. It's those two. And then AP Co., which is Aluminum Products Company. I don't have that one either. And so I'm hoping to have one of every canteen company, every canteen maker eventually in my collection. And I'm sure that I will, as much, picking as I do, going on road trips and everything else. But hopefully this video was informative to you. Like I said, I'm sure once I turn this video off, I'll think of a bunch of stuff I should have said. But I think I covered my notes here pretty good. But if you guys have any questions or anything, I'd love to interact with you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do. I did want to say that, these are 1 quart canteens, which is basically 32 ounces. And so, a lot of people are, I guess, wondering how much water they would hold. It's about a quart, but, around 32 ounces. But anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. And, you know, if you got any ideas, maybe some other videos I could make, you know, let me know in the comment section. You know, I'm always looking for ideas and input on how I can better my channel and help you guys out with your collecting. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.